guys, it's Channon Rose. As you can see, I have a new background. It is not even Thanksgiving yet, but I am so obsessed with Christmas that I decided I wanted to set up my Christmas tree because it makes me happy to look at, so I hope you guys don't mind. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my online dating horror story. I had never online dated before. It was my first time doing it and I was really hesitant because, I don't know, I just thought it was kind of weird. Especially like with having done porn, that's just so awkward to like put yourself out there like a bunch of randos online, you know what I mean? But I was like, I'm gonna try it and I'll just be really careful. So I decided to sign up on Match.com, and as you guys know, that is how I met my husband Travis. So it did work out really well for me, but in the process I had dated two other people. They were both really weird dates, but I'm gonna tell you the one date that was like a complete horror story. You guys are probably thinking that I'm about to tell you that this horror story had to do with the guy, but it was actually the other way around. I was the horror story for the guy. I thought it would be fun to do something a little different and share with you how I became this poor guy's horror story. So online tells you like about them, their job and stuff like that, and he was a psychologist. Automatically I was like, no way. But then I saw his picture and he was like super hot, like hottie. So I was like, oh fuck it, like I'm gonna message him back. I ended up messaging him back and we had been talking back and forth a little bit and everything seemed fine. He did ask some like unusual questions, but I just assumed he's just trying to psychoanalyze me before we meet. But he was just really cute, and I know that sounds so bad, like I'm such a superficial bitch. Oh, Trish, that made me think of Trish. I don't know, I have to be super attracted to somebody for me to want to like go on a date with them, and then hopefully they have the rest of the package with it, you know? So we'd been talking for a while and it finally came that time for us to actually meet for the first time. And you guys, I was really nervous. And I stopped drinking for like a long time, but I was like, there's no way, like I need to like have a few drinks in me before I meet these people because I'm gonna be so nervous. You probably think like, you did porn, how could you be nervous? Well, in my personal life, I get kind of nervous when I meet guys for the first time that are like really cute, and especially because it's like a blind date. I don't know, the whole thing's just so weird. I was really nervous, so I decided like I was going to have a few drinks in order to meet him. I also was scared to meet him just like one-on-one because of doing porn. I think I was just like more protective of myself. So I asked him to meet me at a bar with like some of my friends. It wasn't even really a bar, it was like a restaurant that had a bar in it. So I had him meet me there. So it was kind of just like, you know, gathering of friends, and it wasn't so awkward, just like a one-on-one creepy online date thing. I was kind of like buzzed. I had taken like 1 or 2 shots and I was like feeling pretty good at this point because I hadn't drinking in a really long time, so I was pretty buzzed. So he ends up walking into the restaurant and I like can spot this guy from like a mile away. He is freaking gorgeous. And I'm like, oh my God, he's so hot. He's like hot in person. Okay, so that's good. So he comes over and he starts talking and he's super nice. Just like, he seemed kind of geeky and a little bit like quiet and shy, but that was to be expected. It was like, you know, a lot of my friends and then just like him by himself. So I completely understood that. Sat down, we started talking, we had a few drinks together, and then I was like, let's go back to your place. Because my slutty bang wanted to like go hang out with him just one-on-one now that I knew that he was like a normal person and I wasn't as scared. I did want to kind of get to know him a little bit better, just like one-on-one. And when I say that, I don't mean like having sex, I just mean like, you know, without a bunch of my friends around. So we ended up going back to his place and the alcohol's kind of starting to wear off and I'm starting to get a lot more nervous. We're sitting down on the couch and I'm on one couch and he's on the other couch, and he's like, so tell me about yourself. And I swear to God, you guys, it was as if I had walked into a psychiatrist's office, sat down on the couch, and this hot ass psychiatrist was like asking me about my problems. I swear that's exactly how it felt. I was immediately like, wait, is this a date or a therapist session? And he started laughing. He thought it was funny. I was being serious. And then he started asking me these questions that I felt like he was like legitimately trying to like psychoanalyze. So just so you guys know, as far as right now, I don't know that this guy knows that I did porn. I don't think that he knows, and I don't want to tell him yet. You know what I mean? I want him to get to know me a little bit, and then I'm gonna tell him. And I planned on telling him. I didn't think that he knew yet. Well, this is where it gets interesting. So then he starts asking me questions about being promiscuous, fucking trying to analyze my fucking brain and shit. He's like trying to get in my brain and I'm like, no fucker, get out of there. Get out of my brain. It's fucking weird, and he was so weird. He's asking me like the weirdest questions. So I was just like, but he was so hot that like I didn't care, you know? He was like, you seem a bit nervous. Would you like a drink? And I was like, yeah, sure. So then we started drinking. Nerves kind of settled. Then all of a sudden he's like, so what made you want to get into porn? And I was like, oh. I was like, what? How did you already know? Like, I I just like, there was nothing on my profile on Match.com that said anything about me doing porn. It didn't have like porn-esque pictures. He knew before I could even tell him. He just kind of like threw it on me, and I was like, wow, okay. And being like the open, honest person I am, I was just like, well, you know, and kind of started telling the story. And that is when I was like, okay, I'll have another shot. You want to take another shot? I'll take another shot. Because he was so good looking and so smart, and he kept like using all these big words and like trying to like question all these things, and he kind of just like was like intimidating me, and I don't know, I kind of just felt like out of place. I know this sounds really bad, but I felt like he was like too good for me, and he was almost just like wanting to like go on this date with me to like use me as like a science experiment to like question and pick my brain to find out like why I did the things I did. Like that's what it started to feel like. And so I started to feel self-conscious. My self-esteem was going from like here to here, you know, and it was just very awkward. And so I started drinking a lot, and I kind of just got drunk, and all of a sudden he starts making out with me, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's on. So I am like kissing him, and all of a sudden I start to not feel so good. And I'm like, I'm not feeling so good, but like I don't want to stop kissing him. And so I kept kissing him, and then I threw up a little bit in my mouth, and it kind of got in his mouth, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I'm not feeling so good. And then I like, you know how you can't help it, you kind of just like projectile vomit. I like projectile vomited like all down part of his pant leg and his couch, like his nice leather couch. I was just like, I am so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'll buy you a new couch, I'll buy you new pants, just get in the shower, I'm gonna go home. And he didn't want to let me leave. He's like, no, you can't leave, you've been drinking too much, I don't want you to leave, just, you could stay here. And I was like, no, I don't want to stay here. I didn't want him to, I was so embarrassed, you guys, like so embarrassed. I didn't want to like keep throwing up at his house. You know, like when you're like sick and you're not feeling good, and you're like, oh, that like drunk awful sickness, the last thing you want to do is be around like this hot ass guy that you just went on a date with and ruined, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, I'll have my mom come pick me up. I don't even know why I said my mom. My mom lives like on the other side of the city. I could have like called a friend, but for some reason I said like, I'm gonna have my mom come pick me up, which sounded like really just like, it was so bad. It was like the worst date. This poor guy was probably like, this crazy ass ex-porn chick got fucking wasted, threw up all over me, having her mom come pick me up from my house. Like, it was probably this poor guy's like horror story of online dating. He is probably telling this story about me to all of his friends whenever he goes out, and like they're like, oh, tell us a crazy story. He probably tells the one of me at his house throwing up all over him in the middle of making out. Yeah, that was my online dating horror story. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more Storytime videos, let me know down in the comment section below. I'm sending you all my love and all my positive energy, and I hope to see you in my next video. Mwah!